Alrighty. Okay. So, like Crystal said, welcome everyone. Welcome to Move In 101. Um, Today, you know, our goal is to help you feel prepared, feel confident, feel excited before you arrive. So, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. So today, this is what we'll cover. We're going to go over the move-in schedule and dates. We're going to walk through our move-in process step by step. We're also going to highlight some events happening during move-in week and welcome week. And then, of course, at the end of the session, we'll leave plenty of time for questions. All right. So these are our move-in dates. They are our official move-in dates by each community. As you can see, we begin move-in on August 13th and we go through Sunday, August 16th. Please um, pay particular attention to which building and which floor you are in. For example, for Alvarez Hall, if you live on the first and third floor, you'll be moving in on the 13th. Now, if you live on the second and fourth in Alvarez Hall, you'll be moving in on the 14th. And the same goes for Blanco. Each floor is associated with a specific day. I'm sure you've seen this in your emails. You've seen this online, and of course, the time slot email once it comes out later this month, will further show you which day and specific time you will be moving in. So arriving on time and arriving on your assigned day does help us keep the process moving smoothly, and it does ensure that we welcome everyone as efficiently as possible. Again, just to highlight Villages and Chisholm Hall, so that's Laurel Village and Chaparral Village and Chisholm, they do not have elevators, okay? So pack light, pack efficient, um, and again, to highlight, each day has a specific um, resident hall and floor and building. Okay. So, again, this information will be shared in multiple different ways. If you want, you can definitely take a screenshot of this as well. But again, online, via email, and of course, the future emails that come out, specifically the time slot one, will further indicate specific time and day.
Awesome. And now I'll be going through the step by step. So as Nick mentioned, you following our instructions provided will help you have a very smooth move in. So of course, our first step is gonna get you checked in. So you have that time slot. You arrive on time. You're gonna head over to BK5, Brackenridge 5. And that's where you will be checking in with our team. During check-in, you'll be getting your 2 hang tags for the unloading lot, as well as that is where you'll get your temporary access key to your space. That is why it's very important that you start at this location, because if you don't start there, you won't have access to your room. So there's multiple ways to get to BK5. If you're coming in from the I-10 area, you're gonna have to pass by 4 different entrances into the university before you get to BK5. If you're coming from 1604, there's only one entrance that you have to worry about, and that's the right one, BK5. So this map is clearly showing you're not gonna take the right hand turn onto Valero Way or Bowerly Road or Jimenez Avenue. And then the next couple stops that you pass by will be all University Oaks. It's the very last right turn on our campus. Again, you should be able to see our that lot from the road. We'll have signage out there that says check-in. We'll have a big wavy man. There's a large white wedding tent. You can't miss it. So we'll make sure to have indicators also along that road on UTSA Boulevard as well as on the Babcock Road, so that way you guys know which way to go. So when you get to BK5 lot, again, as I mentioned, there's going to be that large wedding tent. What students will need to do, or parents, you will need to park your vehicle. Students, you will hop out of the vehicle and walk to the white tent in order to check in. Make sure before you get out of the vehicle that you do have a photo ID to present to the staff members so we can easily look you up. Once you have been checked into our system, again, you'll be handed basically a folder where it's going to have those 2 hang tags for our loading area, your temporary access card for your room, and basically a map showing you the route along the move-in. So once you've checked in, again, the next step would be to follow the route that we're going to provide to you. There is no faster way to get around traffic if there is traffic. Again, because we're going to be catering to those specific communities moving in each day. Roads are going to be closed, so you may try to go around the traffic and make your experience worse, because then you might have to turn back around, and that puts you back at the end of the line. So again, just to avoid all that confusion, just follow the route that we're providing so that way you guys don't get confused or lost. So this is basically the full move-in route. Again, where you see that orange start and that green check mark, that is BK5. We'll have staff along the route along with signage that you'll just follow depending on where you're going. And where you're going to end, the finishing is where all parents and extra cars will be parking during their time for move-in. During that previous slide, you saw 3 color-coded areas. That's our unloading areas. So a max of 2 cars will be allowed into the lots per student, and those are where the hang tags come in handy. Cars will not be able to park in the unloading area, unfortunately, but we will have staff and volunteers present to assist you in unloading. So based off of your community, these are the 3 designated unloading zones. So specifically, Alvarez Hall, your unloading lot will be resident lot 1, which is directly in front of Alvarez. So that lot will be structured to where we'll have cars pulling up into areas. Staff and volunteers will help unload the vehicle, while student, you're able to start moving your stuff to your actual space. Blanco Hall and Chisholm Hall, you guys will be the blue lot, basically. That is the closest to your community, and that's what we're going to use for your unloading. And then for Guadalupe Hall, Chaparral Village, and Laurel Village, resident lot 2, the orange lot, is where you guys will be unloading. And again, there is no parking in the unloading lots. Just so that way we can have cars backfill again. Time slots are every 15 minutes. So as soon as we get you guys unload, we're going to have the next group of students also filtering into those lots. So we need to make the process as smooth and easy as possible for everyone. And then the last step is parking. Once cars are unloaded, we prefer that parents stay in the vehicle as the driver to relocate the vehicle to the designated parking area. So student, that way you can take your items to your room. You'll have the key. We can teach you how to use the key on the actual door, all that good stuff. The designated parking areas will be in Brackenridge 1 and 2 in unmarked spots. So when you see a parking lot, our lots are either marked with each space is either marked or unmarked. So if you see nothing on the ground, that's an unmarked spot. Marked spots will have either a very clearly marked sign telling you what that space is labeled as, or it may be faded. If it's faded, don't risk it, just park where there is no marking in the space. During this time, students or parents that are parking in those areas will not need a parking permit. So again, you will not need a parking permit for that area because it is intersection parking. Parking permits won't be needed until the following Tuesday. And then, as I mentioned, these are the designated parking areas, Brackenridge 1 and 2. It's right in front of the convo area as well as the recreational area. If you guys have been on campus already for your orientation, this was the same area that you parked in. Again, make sure you're parking in unmarked spots. Once you've parked your vehicle, you'll just need to locate our blue tent that's going to be placed in front of the convo area. So that way our golf carts can shuttle you back to the communities. We'll have shuttles running back and forth from that lot to each community from 9 to 4 p.m. We have a hard cut off at 4 p.m. Just so that way we can start closing up our lots and other areas in preparation for the next move-in day. Students who have already been approved for early move-in is August 10th, and that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will not be time slots, but that is your time frame for you and your families to arrive on campus. And your check-in is somewhat similar. Instead of checking in at BK5, you will be directly checking in resident lot 2. Again, you'll need to have a photo ID to provide to staff to verify who you are, and also look you up in our system to check you in. Once you have been checked in, during that time of check-in, staff will already be assisting you guys in unloading your vehicle. Again, please note that we will have minimal staff available to assist you with unloading. So it's mainly going to be you and your families doing that process. And then the last step would be to relocate your vehicle to any unmarked spaces that are not within our resident lots 1, 2, or 3. Those lots will be officially closed at that time just to cater to move-in that will be happening later that week. Again, more information will be provided starting next week for students who have been approved for early move-in.
Alrighty, so once you're moved in, that's where the fun begins. So here's a look at some of the events that are happening during move-in week and after. We've only included the dates here because event times and locations will be shared in several places once you arrive. So you'll see them on flyers, you'll see them through your RA, also posters in the hall, even via email. Most of our housing events or housing and residence life events do take place in the evenings. So please be sure to check out the schedule and join us wherever you can. I will like to highlight most all of these events are for all of our residents, right? If you live in Alvarez Hall, you can go to the event that's going to be hosted in Chat. If you live in Guad, you can go to the event that's hosted in Laurel and vice versa, right? I will like to highlight that August 14th, if you live in Alvarez and you are part of a themed residential community, so that's our La Comunidad, our First Gen community. We do have others on the floors as well. You're invited to an exclusive event called TRC Prep Days. You will be getting an email regarding that and a postcard soon. And then I will also like to highlight August 17th. So August 17th for our folks who live in Guadalupe Hall, our first-time freshmen, first-time honors students. You do also get another exclusive event called Honors Compass Day. And our honors team will be sending or has been sending you all some emails about that too. Again, if you're not sure what's going on, these flyers, these posters will be in your room. They'll be around the hall. They'll definitely be in a place where you can definitely check them out, read them through. And so I highly encourage everyone here to attend one of these. So when you're done moving in, take a break, cool down, and then once that evening time hits, check out the nearest flyer and see what's going on that evening. Um, And then one last plug is August 18th, our involvement fair. So events aren't just in housing, they're across the campus, across the university. So if there's a particular club you really want to see or join, I do encourage to go, or I do encourage you to go to that involvement fair, sorry, to get involved, join a club, join a student organization, um, and things like that. Okay, so yeah, take a screenshot, but of course, we will have other methods of sharing this information with you all as well. Um, and then after Welcome Week, so of course, your experience doesn't stop after moving, right? It is just the beginning of a new journey, a beginning of new friends and new experiences, right? So, beginning August 20th, your RA will host these events called community builders, right? These help you, of course, build community within your residence hall, but also get to know your neighbors. You get to know who's living across from you or down the hall, and you really get to build those connections within your community. You'll also see us mention a lot, or the university mention a lot, Roadrunner Days. So these are university-wide programs designed to help new and returning students meet other Roadrunners, discover campus resources, again, getting involved with those student orgs, and simply just having fun and truly find out what it means to be a Roadrunner. So our full schedule is posted online at roadrunnerdays.utsa.edu. Or if you're like, that's too long, I'm just going to Google Roadrunner Days at UTSA, they will pop up. So throughout the semester and throughout the year, please continue to be involved, enjoy our events and the university events as well. Um, Again, we will continue to offer programs and activities throughout the semester. One of our biggest ones I do like to hype up is during our homecoming and Halloween time frame. Of course, you will get that information as we near that time of the year. But again, these activities are here to help you meet people, make friends, and truly feel at home at campus or on campus. All right, so that wraps up our presentation. Again, thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them now. So we're gonna post the Q&A.
So the first question we have here, can the photo ID be your student ID? Yes, that's easier for us to have just because it will already have your banner ID as well as your ABC 123 ID. So if you already have your UTSA ID, that can count as a photo ID to provide during check-in. And if you're not sure where to ask questions, if you click more, there should be a Q&A area, and that's where you can post your questions. Where can I sign up for move-in time? So move-in time slots will be sent out on July 20th when they're available, but it'll be through your housing portal. So you're going to log in and see a specific tab that says time slots, and that's where you'll be able to see those options to select. Will dollies or rolling carts be provided, or should we bring our own? Highly recommend you bring your own, but we will have some also provided on site. Just note that we're going to have 3 different communities moving in each day, so we might run out of resources. So highly recommend you bring your own so that way you're not just standing there baking in the sun while just waiting for a cart. So if you have your own, highly recommend that you also pack that in your vehicle to bring and assist you moving in. Will this Zoom recording be emailed? Unfortunately, it won't be emailed, but between today's session as well as our next session, July 22nd, we're recording them. And out of the best recorded one, it will be posted to our website so that way all students and families can have access to it. Will we be able to go on the actual main campus during move-in week, or will it be closed off completely during the first day? The campus will be open. There may be some classrooms closed, but we are a public institution, so you can walk around campus, you can try to find your classes, you can do all those things. But again, like we're gonna have row runner days, and that's one of the events where you can walk with other students who are also locating their classes. Can I get my student ID on campus the days after I move in? Yes, you can. The campus services office will be open for you to go in and take your photo and get your ID printed that same day. We'll also have a location on our in one of our housing communities for you to get your IDs right there within one of the communities. So you don't have to walk all the way on the main campus to get that done, but they're only going to be doing it during business hours if you can't make it. Is there anything specific for people moving in late? No, just make sure you shoot us an email so we are aware you are moving in late. You're not gonna miss too many things. There's still gonna be events and opportunities for you to meet your other residents in your community, your RA, and all that good stuff. It's just you won't have anything as structured as this information we're providing. You just show up at your community, say, I'm here to check in, and you should be able to just move in. But people who are moving in late, information will also be provided to you each day. Ooh, this one's long. My move-in date is the 15th because I'm in building 12 at CHAP. I first received my housing assignment, but I participated in a room swap. Now I'm in building 9. Am I allowed to still move in on the 15th, even though it's not the day meant for my building? Just go ahead and send us an email and we can provide you the next steps on that. But we may limit the number of people how they're changing their moving dates just because we scheduled everything to where it evenly breaks down each resident moving in per day. So we don't want 2,000 people moving in on a Saturday. So that would kind of make things bad for everyone. So just shoot us an email. If we're able to accommodate, we'll let you know. Are we allowed to nail directly into the walls when hanging? What is and isn't allowed on the walls? We don't have anything specific that is allowed or not allowed, but we highly recommend that you use like pin size nails. We rather that than command strips, just because command strips tend to leave residue as well as damage the walls. So the less damage that you do to the wall, the better. So we kind of recommend you use a nail and a hammer should you want to put anything on your wall. For housing Chapel Village, do each unit have a washer or dryer, or is it like a community thing? If it is in the community place, where would that be? Would it cost us anything to wash our laundry? Nick, do you want to take that question?
Definitely can. So in Chaparral Village and similar to Laurel Village, the washer and dryers are located in a central location in various spots throughout the community. So they are community style, and they are in buildings called neighborhood centers. So within these neighborhood centers, you'll find a community kitchen, study spaces, as well as the laundry facilities. Laundry at UTSA is free, so it's completely free. I will also like to plug on the free thing. Our events are also free for you to attend as well. So you do not have to pay to use your laundry and go to our events. Fun thing. But yes, neighborhood centers for Chaparral Village and Laurel Village are the name of the buildings that you will find your community laundry and community shared spaces in.
Are there any measurements for Chisholm Hall yet? So our all of our communities have measurements on their website. If you go on our website, click housing communities, click Chisholm Hall. You got to scroll down underneath the floor plan and then past the prices. You should see measurements there. If there's something that isn't listed there that you would like us to get measurements for, just shoot us an email and we can try to look into that specifically. Are there any questions specifically about um, the moving route or any confusion there? Straightforward to the point. Well, Nick, you got one. What's going to be on TRC Prep Day?
Yeah, I'm super excited that you asked that. TRC Prep Day is our theme this year is a day in the life. So you'll get to experience kind of what it is to be a roadrunner before the rest of the community or in the rest of your fellow runners, right? So what does that look like? That looks like going with the RA to get breakfast together, experiencing a campus-wide photo challenge, and there will be prizes for the winners, mock lectures, so you'll get to meet faculty in a smaller classroom setting and have some um, a good one-on-one time with them in a small class size. You'll also be able to experience some information sessions. So there will be an involvement session as well with student involvement. So they'll highlight their orgs and they'll highlight their clubs and things like that and other initiatives through that office. And we'll also have a session on prepping you for your academic life. So balancing time, balancing your social activities while being studious and things like that. And then we'll end the day with a large scale challenge between Alvarez and Guad with several icebreakers and some prizes. And it's just all in all, it's a good time. So you'll get to experience classroom setting, outside of the classroom setting, being involved in experiencing different buildings across campus. So the rec center, Roadrunner Cafe, one of our buildings, which is the McKinney Humanities. So really, it's a truly exclusive experience for you to experience that day in a life as a student.
Awesome. The next question we have here, do the golf cart times differ for early move-in dates or not? So unfortunately, the golf carts won't be running during early move-in. So again, you guys are going to be way closer than the folks that are going to be required to park in Brackenridge 1 and 2. There's a resident lot right next to Guadalupe Hall in the Roadrunner Cafe. We're not using that resident lot. It was resident lot 4 and typically it's empty. So more than likely you'll be able to park there and then just walk over to whichever community you're living in. After the unloading zone, we just drop our stuff in the bin and the staff takes it over to our room. So when you unload your stuff and put it in the bin, student will be with their items and taking it to their room. So that way they know where their stuff is. They'll know how to locate their room. They're learning how to open their door. So you're not just leaving your stuff and we're taking it. No, we're helping you take your stuff to your room. So just make sure again, that if you're bringing parents or guardians, they're the ones relocating the vehicle to the parking area. And that's why you as a student will be guiding whoever's assisting you, volunteer or staff, to your space. Will we be able to move in by ourselves without our parents or anyone else driving? Yes, you will. More than likely, we'll just hold your stuff. We'll have a staff member who's going to be present, standing by your stuff. We'll remember your name. Probably will take your ABC 123 so that way you can relocate your vehicle. And then when you come back up to the community, they should still be standing with your stuff and you can be like, that's my stuff. And they can assist you moving your stuff to your space. Someone wasn't much of a question, but is saying thank you so much for hosting events like this. This is really helpful and truly making the experience feel more comforting. You're absolutely welcome. We've learned from a couple of years that hosting things live and answering questions is more helpful than just sending the email with the information over and over and over again. Because we do understand you guys have specific questions or things that you guys aren't understanding. So we appreciate you guys for showing up and kind of asking questions so that way we can learn about our residents more and what they are in need of. If a student is bringing their car, can it stay in BK 1 and 2 until movement is complete? Parking purchase says it begins September 1st. Is there a bridge between, or is there a buffer time so they don't get a ticket? So they can leave their car in BK 1 and 2 for move-in week once all the communities have moved in. Parking lots will open again in R1 and 2 and 3, which are closer to each community, depending on where your student's living. They will start ticketing intersection parking stops on, I believe, July, that Tuesday. So July 18th, that's when they'll start ticketing people. So your students should be fine though, because their resident parking permit will allow them to park up, but only after hours, right? So you just need to make sure that you follow those instructions at the back of their permit, and it'll tell them where they are able or not able to park. Again, we have multiple residence lots, so the 3 that we're closing for move-in specifically will open after that Saturday. So Monday, they will be able to park in these 3 lots again. The lot that I was mentioning that is a resident lot and right next to Guadalupe Hall. Nick, if you can like circle R4, that is a resident lot. So your student will be able to park there also during the move-in week. There was one. What's the earliest time slot available for move-in? So the earliest time slot for move-in is at 9 a.m. Our time slot is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there will be 15-minute time slots every 15 minutes.
Crystal, there was a question that got dismissed before it was answered. It's about what happens if you miss your time slot.
If you miss your time slot, more than likely we'll ask if you can wait until that 15-minute group that is checking in at that moment goes through, and then if we're able to take you in at that time, we'll be able to usher you to check in. If not, we may ask you to return back at 4 p.m. once everyone who has a selected time slot has checked in. Just again, if we do get super busy and everyone's running a tad bit behind, those 15 minutes may happen a little quicker and we'll have larger groups. So in order to avoid large crowds and people waiting, we may have to turn you away and tell you to come back at 4 p.m. Thank you in advance for volunteers during move-in. Although limited, my worry is getting the fridge up to the 4th floor, even with 2 family members help. Can we rely on at least 1 volunteer? Again, staff will be limited. So if you see someone and you absolutely need an assistant, you can, ask them. Or more than likely, if we see someone struggling, we won't just stand there and watch you guys struggle. We'll definitely be like, hey, do you need a hand? And they'll assist you guys come carrying things up the stairs. But again, people have free will and they may say, oh, unfortunately, I have to go do something else, or I am on my way to execute something else. But again, we are very friendly here at UT San Antonio, so more than likely someone will stop and assist you. You guys were asking great questions, all relatable. Um, let us know if you think of anything else. We're here till 7:30. So So the official first day of class is August 19th. So make sure your student is aware of that. Your student's first day may not be August 19th. It just depends on their class schedules. So classes typically are offered Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or Tuesday, Thursdays, or depending on whatever the student's major, it may be a once a week class and maybe only on Wednesday. So your student's first day may be on Thursday, or their first day may actually be on Friday. So make sure your student is checking their schedule that they set up and they're on campus in their class, the right class, the first day of class.
I was gonna answer. So we're getting a lot of questions about what's allowed, what's not allowed, talking about like different like hot plates and all that. So if you Google UTSA housing what to bring list, it will populate what is allowed and what is not allowed. I would go off of that. I know it's very specific question about the wattage. I would say if it's more than 700, you're pulling too much energy and it's gonna flip a breaker. And yes, we will reset it. But if we see that it's a constant thing, that will be a different conversation. Just make sure you're being realistic that you don't need too many fridges in one outlet.
And then to also add on to that, what to bring and what to not to bring on the list. Everything is what you possibly may bring or things that are allowed, right? You don't have to bring everything on that list. We highly recommend that you guys pack light, move in, and then kind of discover, oh, I need this. Once you check in with us, you'll be getting an automatic email that will have a welcome packet and it will have a list of important things. So basically, how to set up your internet. If you haven't gotten your UTSA ID, where to go get that, how to purchase a parking permit. We'll also have resources of close by stores where you can go and get dorm room stuff. And typically around our campus, they're typically having college move-in deals and sales and all that good stuff. So we'll have the addresses as well as their link. If you, it will be linked to a Google map. So you'll just need to click on the link and it'll pop up the Google map. And so it'll direct you to where their stores are. But it will have the HEB, the closest Walmart. If you want to get food with your family, we'll have information on that and the mall and all that good stuff. So just make sure once you check in, you also check your email. For the photo ID, can it be a state given ID such as your Texas license? I believe that's what it said. Yes, it's any photo ID as long as it has your first and last name and a photo of you, the student. We'll accept that at the check-in location. Nick, can you answer how do I become an RA?
Absolutely. So we will share flyers and email communication with y'all towards the end of the fall semester. So please be on the lookout for that. The flyer generally says, interested in being an RA, attend an informational session. And these sessions, you'll get to possibly meet a new RA you haven't met before, and they'll give you the info of how to become an RA. So that's step one. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for the flyers, for the emails, and even asking your RA as it gets closer to the end of the semester. And again, uh, don't forget to ask us again. But yes, we will start sharing informational sessions as the semester goes on. But yeah, I'm happy you're excited to become an RA.
Awesome. And then I'll take the next question. Are ATMs exist on campus? Yes, ATMs are on campus. I believe there's one on the first floor of the student union, and then there's also one located in the MH building. Whenever you get to campus, you can always ask anybody and they can direct you in that area. But there are two existing ATMs on campus.
And Nick, we've had quite a few people joining a little late. Would you mind moving to the slide that has all 4 of the move-in steps? Just for anybody who wasn't able to hear the entire presentation, they can review that and take a screenshot here.
And if you feel like you've missed a lot of information, feel free to join our session that we will be hosting on July 22nd. The time frame will be the same. The link is the same. Your student will get the email again the same day it's hosted. How does bike registration work on campus? Great question. So you can do one of 2 things. You can go to campus services office and they can help you guys get your bike registered. Or you can also go to this UTSA PD department and they can also help you register your bike on campus. So basically, they engrave your banner ID onto your bike and or scooter if you do decide to bring one, and that way they have it on in their system. So should there be theft of a scooter or a bike and they are able to locate it, they're able to identify it and connect with you, the owner, and kind of return your property back to you. And they also do give free U-Locks too. For the temporary access card, will we be using that badge into the individual rooms, or is that directly coded to the students' IDs already? So for all students that will be moving in during our schedule move-in, the temporary access ID is what you're going to be using on your move-in day when you first get in your room. But at any point during that day or later on during that week, you can stop by your front office to get your UTSA ID encoded and then turning back in the temporary ID. Each temporary card should be able to work for your front door and your individual bedroom door if you're living in the villages. And at any of our halls, it's just that single front door for you. When you get to your door, it's a swipe, a 4-digit PIN followed by the pound sign, and then it should flash green, allowing you entry into the space. Just make sure you check your emails. Again, that will be provided in our step-by-step because we do get a lot of questions of how it works and how do you access your room on actual move-in day. But again, more information to come on when you need to have your UTSA ID card encoded by.
I see a question here. It says, what is going to happen on Rowdy Glow, August 16th? So glad you asked. So Rowdy Glow is open to all of our Roadrunners, no matter if you live on campus or not. And it is our kickoff of the semester. So it's a lot of, yes, Roadrunner spirit. There's music, there's lights. They usually provide some sort of light up gear or glow gear of sorts. Yeah, it is really just it's a really it's a big staple in the university. It's a huge event, and it's a great time to meet other Roadrunners. It's super exciting. Again, all of these events, that one in particular, is also listed on our Roadrunner Days website. So that is roadrunnerdays.utsa.edu. Along with that event, it lists the rest of our Roadrunner Days events. So please, when you're here on campus, go check them out, get involved, and have fun.
Next question. If it's after 4 p.m. on move-in day and we come back from buying items, can we park closer to the dorm? If it's either the 13th, 14th, and 15th, the closest would be resident lot 4 if you're able to find space there. Again, residence lots 1, 2, and 3 will be closed. Scratch that, not resident lot 1 after the 14th. But again, after each community moves in, and we're not needing that lot anymore, it will be turned back over to the residents to be able to park in. Nick, can you go to the slide with the parking spots where it says R1, R2, R3, and they're circled? So for example, all of Alvarez will be moved in by the 14th. So resident lot 1 will be available for students to park in. For R2, that lot would be closed basically all week, so it'll be returned back to the students to park in following Sunday's move-in. So after 4, if you're moving in on Sunday, you will be able to park there. Other than that, there's no real place to actually park. We highly don't recommend that you put your hazards on and run something in just because things happen. We still have a major road that runs between our communities, and for everyone's safety, we are a walking campus also. So highly recommend you try to locate a parking spot, and then you make that walk. My son will be going to UTSA, and I'm just wondering if there's a food pantry and where I can get food or stuff he needs. Is the food free? Do we have to pay? Where is it? Nick, do you want to speak to more about our Roadrunner pantry?
Yes, like Crystal said, we do have a Roadrunner pantry. That is located in our student union. It does have certain hours, so I do highly encourage, going to their website to get their specific hours during that time frame. That is free to the student, so you will most likely need your student ID to get in, and they have food, the canned goods, things like that. That is free. They also provide that within our hall, so it's not the full pantry, but in each hall, in their office area, so usually right next to the front desk, they have a rack of shelves that they come deliver and replenish with grab and go food kits. So yes, there is a Roadrunner pantry. Yes, it is free. And to sum it up, 2 locations, the delivery shelves within each hall next to their front desk, or in the student union right next to our UPS.
And just a little addition to that, they don't just give food, they also do toiletries too. They do refrigerated food too. So highly recommend that your Roadrunner takes advantage of that. There may be times where certain things are limited just because of the number of donations they have gotten. But again, like Nick said, it is free to students. How do I get my student ID? So if you've already attended orientation, that was that orange card that you got with your pretty face on it. That's your student ID. If you haven't attended orientation yet, you will get it at orientation. If you, for whatever reason, not planning to do in-person orientation, again, the campus services office will be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, normal business hours. Taking pictures and providing students with their photo ID. If you're participating in Move-In with us, they'll have a specific location within one of our halls. That way you guys don't have to walk all the way to their office. So they're going to be on site. So all you have to do is just stop by, take your picture, and more than likely they'll contact you when your ID is ready to pick up. Just make sure you're checking your emails because more than likely we'll be providing the specific times and a specific location that you will be able to go to get your UTSA ID. Let's say someone mails me something. How can I do that? Because I know there's a UPS, but I don't know how that would work. So, if you're living on campus with us, we do receive mails at your dorm. So you would just need to make sure you have your first and last name and the correct address. Again, I previously mentioned that when you check in, you're going to get a welcome packet. So within the welcome packet, something else that will be provided is your community specific address that you can use to receive packages. We do accept everything except for the United States Postal Mail, so no USPS mail. So if your parents want to send you something, it will have to be through UPS. FedEx, DHL, or Amazon package, we receive all of those carriers. They'll drop it at the front desk. And once we have your package, we'll shoot you an email saying, hey, you have a package here. You can pick it up at your front desk during business hours. And again, this information will be in your welcome packet once you've checked in. What about laundry rooms in Chisholm Hall? So for our halls, there is laundry rooms on each floor. It may not be directly in front of you, and there will only be one location. But again, it's located on each floor. For our villages, there's a specific building, since it's more apartment style. There's a specific building that is our laundry area. It's also our called the neighborhood center, and that's where the community kitchens are also located. Another plug, as Nick mentioned, like with the events, students aren't limited to going to only their community's event. You can also use other communities' amenities. So Chaparral Village has a pool. So does Chisholm Hall. It has an indoor pool. So highly recommend if your student ever wants to swim, they can walk on over to that pool and utilize it still as well. We have lots of steady spaces in Guadalupe Hall as well as Blanco Hall. So again, your students can walk over to those locations and use those amenities. We'll have a coffee shop on the first floor of Guadalupe Hall. It would be crazy if only Guadalupe Hall residents were allowed to get coffee in that building. So highly recommend that you take advantage of those resources. If you don't need to go to main campus and it's right there, why not just walk over there to another hall, use it, and and then go back home or stay there all day or invite your friends also. But we highly recommend that you take advantage of your experience living on campus.
Yeah, I see another question about how to become an RA. Again, just to recap, we will be sharing information regarding RA informational sessions. So that's where you'll find out what it means to be an RA and how to apply for our this academic year. So this fall and next spring, we are full. We do have fully staffed with our RAs. So when we sharing that information to be an RA, it will be for the next academic year. So fall 2027 and fall and oh my gosh, 27, 28. But yes, super excited that y'all are excited to be RAs.
Next question, will Breckenridge 5, BK5, be the place where we unload the stuff for the kids going into their dorms? Nick, can you go back to the slide? So BK5 is only the check-in location. So you will not be unloading in that area. Is solely just to check in with us. So your student can pick up their hang tags to go to the unloading area. Again, that is not where you unload. What apps can I download to make use of the UTSA resources like a map or alert system? So for the alert system, that is called Safe Zone. More than likely, students, you have been getting emails about how to download that. You'll be getting that plugged through us, through PD, through basically everyone on campus, because we as the university all use that app. So again, that will be provided also in your welcome packets. Other apps that I can think of is if you plan to use like the shuttles on campus, I run on campus. It's going to be called The Runner. You can download that and you can see like live footage of where the buses are and how far it is from you based off of different routes you're taking. Another one would probably be the Viago mobile app. So if you plan on going downtown and you don't want to drive your car or you don't have a vehicle to take you there, Via is our San Antonio transit for the city. That it's a free resource to students. So all you have to do is download the app and sign up, and you're able to ride the Via bus and go downtown to go to the mall. So it goes multiple places throughout San Antonio. So that's a good resource for you. And you can always visit Campus Services website. They'll have the different instructions, and there are different instructions specifically how to download those apps and what those look like. And also, I just recommend make sure you're checking your emails daily, because more than likely they've sent not one, not two, not three, but but maybe about 10 emails regarding all these different apps and resources. That way you can have it in one place. We all know our phones are our best friends. We go nowhere without that thing. So there's basically an app for everything. What's the primary form of communication in terms of dorm communication regarding events info? Is it mainly emails, group meeting, etc.? Is it different per dorm? So, Nick, if you want to answer that.
Absolutely. So when communicating with your RA in particular, they work really hard on this. They um, have group meets for their floor, for their sets of residents. So the way you'll be able to join that is from their welcome letter or their bulletin board outside their door. They'll post it all over their floor or in their welcome letter that they put in each of your rooms, or just simply asking them, hey, can I join your group meet, right? So that particular is just for the RA. Now for university-wide and department-wide, and from any professional staff that works at the university, that will go to your student email. So again, it's very important that you are checking your student email daily, not only for academics, but also for communication from the university, such as ourselves in Housing and Residence Life. Yeah, the question here is, do we still have RAs if it's apartment style? How does that work exactly? Yes, all of our residential communities here have RAs. So no matter if you live in Laurel, you live in Guad, you live in Alvarez, you will have an RA. In the halls, there's RAs per floor. So depending on where you live, that will affect the number per floor. And then in Laurel Village and Chaparral Village, each building will have a set of RAs as well. The way you can identify an RA door is usually they'll have a bulletin board or flyers on their door that say RA so and so, RA John, right? And it'll be on their door. And so I do recommend also, of course, you'll get to meet your RA at their events. They'll also will be introducing themselves as they go throughout their communities during move-in. But I also do recommend once you move in, walk your community, walk your hall, walk your village, see what's around, see what the closest neighborhood center is, where the closest RA door is, and things like that. So yeah, make this your home. If you just moved into a new house, you're not staying in the living room, right? You're going to go check out the entire thing. So take that mindset here. This is your home. You're going to move into a new room, go check out your community and the things around you.
Next question we have here, if my roommate hasn't emailed back, is there another way to get in contact with them? Unfortunately, not, just because for student safety, we don't provide phone numbers. If a student decides they no longer are coming to UT San Antonio and we provide their phone number, there's no point in having that phone number, right? Just making sure, that's why we kind of push all students to check their emails, because we don't know what they're missing out on. So unfortunately, that just means that when you guys move in, that's when you're gonna meet your roommates, right? And you can get on them about checking their emails and being that good advocate for them. Where would I be able to throw all trash, like cardboard boxes? Are there dumpsters? If so, where would those be located? So on move-in day, there's gonna be lots of dumpsters provided in areas specific based off of community where you can throw your trash away. You won't be able to miss it. More than likely, it's within close walking distance of your dorm or building that you're in. And each dorm in building have multiple. So if one is full, please use the other one. But again, we'll be emptying them multiple times throughout the week. So that way, everyone has the capability of throwing away their trash. But there are dumpsters to utilize. What type of furniture will be provided? I'll be living in Chisholm Hall. So all of our communities have the same furniture. So you'll get a bed frame, a mattress, a dresser, nightstand, a desk, and a chair, which is typical throughout all of our communities. Our villages will have a little bit more furniture just because they do have that living room and kitchenette area. So if you're in the villages, you will get a full-size refrigerator and a microwave. And then there's a dining room table. Depending on what floor plan you're in, you either have 4 chairs or 2 chairs. And then there's also like couch space, seating area, as well as a coffee table. Are the beds adjustable in height? Yes, if you will be having a twin extra long bed, your bed is adjustable. The only beds that are not adjustable are our full-size beds. So if you're in our Laurel Village 2 bedrooms, those have full-size beds, and then select 2 bedrooms in Chapel Village also have full-size beds. Just make sure you go back to your email. We did email this out to all residents regarding their bed sizes. Would there be a penalty or a fee if I arrive late to my time slot? No, there's not going to be a penalty or a fee that you'll have to pay. Again, more than likely, we'll just ask that you wait until 4 p.m. or if we're able to take you sometime once all of the students who have arrived for the actual time slot have died down, we'll check you in at that point. But more than likely, we'll have you come back at 4 p.m. I don't have any more plugs to put you guys on to. Uh, if you do need beddings or if you choose to wait to get to campus to get those kind of things, the bookstore has good deals and you can look at their selection. Also, they have a lot of dorm room essentials that you can purchase rather than going to the store. But we do understand if you're going to like HEB and you see something cute and you just grab it there too. But also recommend checking out our campus bookstore because they have a lot of good stuff other than just t-shirts and sweaters. Of course, Miss Leslie, she says, thank you all so much for great information. We're happy to help. Honestly, if you guys have questions about anything, we're able to assist you guys. If you don't know, we did post charges last week, so your students should have access to see what their semester bill looks like. If you haven't registered for classes, you won't be able to see your full bill until you register classes, just because classes are included in your tuition and fees, but your student can access that through their MyUTSA account. Bailey is also typing the answer to this question, but someone is asking if they can bring additional furniture, such as electronics and TVs. Yes, you can bring your TV or any additional electronics. Don't go crazy, because it depends on what floor plan you're assigned to. Spaces aren't that big, and you also have to be respectful of your neighbors. But more than likely, I can personally say, I didn't have a TV when I lived on campus, just because, streaming services are basically the thing to do. So I kind of watched everything on my laptop, split screen, half homework, half TV. So, highly recommend you wait to get a TV, but if you want to bring a TV, there's no restrictions for you not to bring a TV. Another plug, if you didn't know, we do have a clinic on campus. It's right across from our rec center, as well as next to the rec fields, very close to Alvarez Hall. The clinic is basically a full clinic and is ran by nurse practitioners. It is free to students. So if your student is feeling sick, if they have the sniffles, they get the flu, if they roll their ankle, the nurse practitioners can see your students and kind of give them next steps. If they do prescribe your student medication, they'll have to go off campus to one of those locations that we will be providing in your welcome packet, such as HEB, Walmart, pharmacies, one of those locations to fill their prescription. And then at that point, the student would have to pay for that prescription. So parents highly recommend that you add your students to your insurance if you haven't already. So that way, if they do need to get medication, it's a little bit cheaper and they're not paying full price for that. Any restrictions on food due to allergies or such? There is no restriction, just because, everyone can eat anything they want. Specifically in our Roadrunner Cafe, there is a true balance area where the food is made without the top 9 allergens. If you have specific requests on something that you are allergic to or any dietary restrictions, highly recommend that you talk to the nutritionist that we do have on campus. She's super sweet. She's happy to work with you and kind of give you more ideas of things that you can eat on campus, as well as like ingredients to things. Additional to that, highly recommend you do talk to your roommate if you do have allergies, so that way they're aware of things that they shouldn't have around you. So just making sure you're communicating that, so that way they are aware. One of my son's friends is in another building in Chap, and his mom was talking about renting a U-Haul. Didn't y'all say in the June session that no U-Hauls were allowed, just the 2 vehicles? Yes. Just because the U-Hauls take up much more space, as well as certain turns into like the lots will be very tight. So if you can tell that friend's mom, don't get the U-Haul or cancel the reservation, that would be very helpful. But yes, no U-Hauls. More than likely, we'll direct them to park in a different lot if possible, but it just makes things very harder for them to navigate being on campus with a U-Haul. This question is a little grown, but I ask it anyway, as you should. What sexual safety resources are provided? Nick, do you want to talk a little bit more about that? And like what office that provides resources regarding sexual safety, if they do testing and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So there are several offices that offer this type of information depending what you're looking for. Again, like Crystal mentioned, our clinic our Clinic Wellness 360 will be able to assist you and navigate any type of resources that you are interested in or testing. For additional resources, we do have our Peace Center that does provide resources as well as an avenue to talk through certain, I guess, how would I say? Uh, sorry, I'm challenging my info on this one. The Peace Center does have advocates as well that if you do need someone to talk to regarding sexual safety and things like that, they do provide that as well as they do have like I know in the student union we do have several stations where sometimes they'll just have out some free condoms and free pamphlets and things like that regarding sexual safety resources. So yeah, good question.
And then just to add on to that, there's also the EOS office, the Equal Opportunity Services Office. They have their responsibility to investigate allegations of discrimination, sexual misconduct, and sexual violence. We have the UTSA Police Department that offer a lot of self-defense classes and crime prevention. The office that Nick mentioned, the Peace Center. We also have the Wellness Services and Wellness 360. They do a lot of like planned testing days. So if you like just test for sexual diseases, you can get like a free slice of pizza, or they give you free incentives for your students to kind of get those things done. And there's also the Student Conduct and Community Standards Office that kind of address violations relating to student conduct in that sense. But there is a website for that. It is utsa.edu /safe campus. You can find all those offices information there, and they're always happy to provide more information.
Crystal, there's been quite a few questions that I've been handling, but just so you can make the broader announcement about Handshake, what Handshake is, how students apply for both regular work study jobs and non-work study jobs, and how does work study work specifically with financial aid?
Right. So with Handshake is basically our campus-wide like Indeed for student. Even after you have graduated, you still have access to that to apply for jobs. When you're on Handshake, students who haven't registered for classes, you'll get access after you're a registered student, right? So when you go on, you should be able to see like a selection on the left-hand side. If you're looking for specifically work study jobs, you click the work study box. If you're looking for only part-time jobs, you can click that. If you're looking for something specifically on campus, off campus, if you're looking for an internship, if you want to just get observation hours, that's basically where you go to apply for anything you're interested in basically professional development, right? If you are a work study student, so the way we like to describe it is you get financial aid and you're approved to get funds through the work study program. So once you're hired as a work study student, that fund that the government has provided, you'll basically let your employers know, hey, I am a work study student, and basically they'll be paying you from that funds the government has provided to you. Typically, work study students start on September 1st. And then once that money is finished for the semester, you would have to stop working for the semester. But typically, most offices are pretty good and flexible with your schedule to where you have enough money for the semester to work from August all the way until December if you choose to do so. Some offices also have the capability of doing work study. And then if you do run out of money that semester, they can just keep you on and pay you part-time. But those are great questions to ask the office that you're trying to work with, so that way you can know how your financials will look. Typically, if you are a student worker, you get paid every 2 weeks. Unless you're an RA, because that is different. They are not work study, but like Nick said, that will more than likely not be posted on Handshake. So it's very important that you're connecting with your RA on how to become an RA. But Handshake, like I mentioned, is super helpful. It's a great way to get a job on campus. That's how I got this job, basically, as a student worker, and plugged me into housing and residence life. I work the front desk. I currently oversee the front desk staff now, in my professional career. So highly recommend if you like an office so much, just stop by and ask them if they're hiring. Sometimes they may not have posted anything on Handshake, but you walking in and showing the initiative, you never know what student worker plans may change. They may not want to work there anymore, may relocate, whatever the case may be. If you like the office, you like how the environment is, always stop by and say, hey, are you guys hiring? Oh, if not, is it possible for me to leave my first and last name and be contacted should a space open or a position open? So again, coming to college is a big networking area. You're going to meet lots of different people from different offices that are interested in different things. So don't be afraid to put your name out there, introduce yourself, shake some hands, haha, and kiki with a lot of people. Any other questions? I promise we've worked here for quite some time. We know about anything and everything. So if you have any types of questions, just drop it in the chat
Crystal, there
or
was
the
quite a few
Q&A.
questions about how to select their meal plan or where they should go for that. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So, students can select a meal plan on their housing portal. So if you go to our website at the top right in the orange little bar, there's going to be a tab that says housing portal. You click that and you're going to log in using your UT San Antonio credentials. Once you're in, you're going to see a tab that says meal plan, and that's where you go and select your meal plan. Students who will be living on campus with us are required to purchase a meal plan. If you're first and or second year, you are required to purchase a Roadrunner meal plan. And then if you are a returning student and you're in your junior and senior year, you're able to select a Rowdy plan. Highly recommend that you visit the campus services website. They also handle meal plans specifically. And they have like a breakdown of what each meal plan has, as well as you can fill out a survey that can kind of basically tell you which meal plan you should select for you. So it's awesome. It's a super cool way to kind of understand how meal plan works. Students will have until September 3rd to select as well as make changes to their meal plan. So if you have a gold meal plan and you feel like you need more access to the Roadrunner Cafe or more dining dollars, you can always change to one of those other meal plans to cater to your needs. Is it true that you need to be in dorms for at least 1 year before applying for the RA position? Not 1 year, but basically your first semester. That's when we have our application process. It'll start in November. Interviews probably won't start until that following February. And then by that point, you've lived on campus for a year, right? So, yes and no. If you want to join clubs, um, or find out how to volunteer in club. So a plug for all, or Nick, do you want to speak about Rowdy Link and what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So once you get your UTSA ID, ABC 123, and passphrase, you are able to log in and have access to our site called Rowdy Link. So Rowdy Link hosts is a hub for all of the events that are going around campus that are hosted by student orgs and our departments. So if you want to join those organizations and you want to see what's coming up for the next academic year, some of them do have their events. As it is summer, they have not every Not every org has fully updated their calendar of events. So a great event to go to is the one we have during our welcome week, and that is, here, let me put up that slide here. That is our involvement fair. That is on August 18th. So the best way to get involved and seeing what kind of clubs and student orgs exist is to go to that involvement fair on August 18th. Again, that is also listed in our Roadrunner Days website that has all the events that are coming up for move-in week and the first few weeks of classes. So again, visit that site, roadrunnerdays.utsa.edu, to get more information.
Hey Nick, we had a question about RAs entering rooms. Would you mind talking about when an RA may enter a resident room, and maybe about like health and safeties?
Yeah, absolutely. So RAs enter rooms for one, like Bailey just said, during health and safety. So that's for us to ensure that the room is in the condition that it was when you moved in. So clean, it's not, there's no fire hazards, no safety hazards, and things like that. They also enter rooms during oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. If we need to, do a check, right? What we usually call wellness checks. So they will be assisted with like a professional staff member, and things like that, and as well as with UPD in that sense of a nature. So those are usually the only time. It is as needed basis. So again, the official time frame is during our health and safety checks, again, to check the condition of the room. But also if their folks are asking us to do a wellness check, we will enter rooms. Professional staff will enter rooms during that time as well.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left. Oh, we got a question. What is the size of the full-size bed for purchasing a bed skirt? So if you go to our what to bring and what to not bring list, the specific size for the full size is on the what to bring list. So just check that out. The size is on there. How much room is under the beds for storage? For Laurel Village, it's not that much space under the bed. Just again, those beds aren't adjustable. So I would say maybe about 1.5 feet, maybe let. Yeah, I think I would say 1.5 feet. So it's not that much space for the full size beds. Check that, what to bring and what not to bring. Again, all of that is listed on there. The things that are in blue under specific areas are the things that students are allowed to bring, not required to bring. And then the orange is literally labeled do not bring. That means do not bring it. So it's clearly written out there. No, you cannot have a bigger size bed. You have to use the bed that is provided. All right, you guys. Since we have no more questions, we're going to start wrapping it up. Thank you guys for attending this session with us. Again, we will be hosting another one on July 22nd, 6 to 7:30 p.m. If you were a latecomer, highly recommend that you try to get your parents in to the sessions if they weren't able to make it to this one. But last question, how about the height of the Twin XL? Again, the size of the mattress, the Twin XL is on that what to bring, what not to bring, how much room is under the bed for storage. So the beds can be adjusted up to max 3 feet, except for Chisholm Hall, theirs is about like 4 feet, just because the beds you're able to loft it so high to put your desk under compared to other halls. So if you're not living in Chisholm, your bed does not go up to 4. It only goes up to 3. All right, that was our last question. Thank you guys so much for attending. I hope you guys have a lovely evening, and just keep an eye out on your emails. We'll be sending everything out every Wednesday. Guys, have a great night.